And away we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. The big show's back on the radio. This is the Rob Brown Show. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. Good to be back after a nice, long, relaxing 4-day Christmas weekend. Now I have to figure out how to navigate the treacherous waters of this 2-day work week as I am with you today. And tomorrow on Thursday, Carter Bryant's going to step in and carry it for one more. And then we're back to real life on Monday, back to our regular day today. I am Rob Brown. Directly across from me on the other side of the glass, the man in charge of button switches, levers, knobs, gears, wheels, pulleys, and other simple machinery, the great one, Lonzo at the helm, reunited, and it feels so good, Lonzo.
Does it?
It does.
Does it feel?
It just feels right, you know?
It does. It seems like a year ago we were getting together for, nearly the first time.
It's been over a year.
Yeah, it has been. But I just you were going with the reunited thing. I get it. So I was trying to do that. You don't match today.
I don't match today.
And that's bothering me. It's an eyesore that I'm looking across from me and you don't match because you always match.
I'm usually pulled together top to
bottom. I mean, I may not agree with some of the color schemes, but at least they match.
Yeah. I'm usually pulled together, but today wearing the aquamarine and orange along with the black polo. And I have a question about it, but for those of you that have not popped onto the live stream yet, you will notice that Rob Brown is ever so painfully sporting the gear of an NFL franchise that is not his own. As I owed up, I have paid up, I am currently paying up, despite the pain and displeasure welling up in my chest. I made a bet with our buddy Andrew, who is the president of the Reedy River Riot, the Greenville Triumph Supporters Club, who is a Miami Dolphins fan. I made a bet like a week and some change ago that on the Miami Dolphins versus New Orleans Saints Monday Night Football game. The bet was, Lonzo, that if the Dolphins were to knock off the Saints, that your boy would rock a Miami Dolphins snapback, which I am currently doing. Here you go, Andrew. There it is right there.
Did you have to purchase that?
No, it's his.
Okay, because that's an immaculate shape. Does he know what that's going to look like when he gets it back?
I won't do anything terribly bad to it. All right?
Nothing visible.
The flip side was if the Saints won, then at the first Greenville Triumph game in early April of 2022, Andrew would have to wear a New Orleans Saints hat through the entire tailgate and match. So that's a solid 7 hours of hat, matched by my 3 hours, except for my 3 hours of broadcasted live to the world on the live stream. So and by the way, on YouTube, it creates a thumbnail out of an image from the show, which means that the thumbnail for this show in perpetuity will be me wearing a Miami Dolphins hat, ever so painfully. The question that I have for you guys, and you can call in and answer at 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776, or you can text it into the Ingalls Market text line at 71307. Start your text with ESPN so we can read them on the air. I made this bet before it was announced that the New Orleans Saints would be starting their four-string practice squad quarterback, Ian Book, in his first ever NFL action. And before it was announced that like 22 members of the active roster would be on the COVID-19 reserve protocol. Now, I did not back out of the bet because I am a man of my word, even when it brings harm upon myself. Okay? Even when it brings harm upon myself, I will stick by what I said. But my question for you, the listener, and you, the Lonzo, is I made this bet under the assumption that Taysom Hill would be starting at quarterback, Trevor Siemian would be available as the backup, and the Saints would be relatively healthy. Instead, I ended up with a 4-string quarterback getting his first NFL action outside of the preseason, and 22 guys on the COVID-19 restricted list that are all eligible players, meaning that, like, I believe the guy playing starting left tackle was a grocery bagger the day before, right? Like, he was trying to put together his own Kurt Warner story. I believe that the outside linebacker on the weak side was an insurance adjuster from New Orleans the day before, who they had to sue. Sean Payton actually said in the press conference, and he was not kidding, that there were 3 guys who got playing time last night who were getting fitted for equipment the night before the game because they had never put on pads in New Orleans. Would it have been, Lonzo, inappropriate of me to call off that bet last minute and point at the fact that 22, like half of the roster was on the COVID list, and we had effectively our practice squad out there? Would it have been unmanly of me to call off the bet in that moment?
There was a bygone era, yes, even before me, where a gentleman's agreement meant something.
Yep.
Where your word was your bond, and where when you gave your word, I will do this if this happens, that there is no doubt that that's what's going to be. And I commend you as a gentleman of yore for paying up on the bet, even though circumstances changed after you made the bet. It happens that way. What's the difference between this and 3 quarterbacks getting hurt during the game? There's no real difference. And the result, because if you're in game and well, that quarterback got hurt, that one got hurt, we got to bring a guy out of the stands. What's the difference? There's no difference, but you paid up on your bet. I have been on the air with people who don't pay up on bets, and that is, it's unacceptable. I myself, having worn a dress because I made a bet, and the person who I made a bet with never paid up on the bets. That's no one on the air now, by the way, so don't read into things. There's no one on the air now, and I don't mean on the air like presently. I mean period on the station. So I commend you for standing up and doing what you said you would do, and I don't believe that there is any doubt in your mind that you were going to pay up on this bet because you're that kind of guy.
I mean, in fairness, everybody was going to know if I didn't, because I'm broadcasting myself to the world wearing this hat. Josh said, so was it the cast of the Replacements movie? Was Keanu Reeves playing quarterback? Might as well have been.
No, Keanu would have been better.
Yeah.
Depending on which version of Keanu you get, because he was an Ohio State quarterback in 2 different movies. He was also an Ohio State quarterback in Point Break, and got hurt in both those movies. So he would have started, but he would have gotten hurt probably.
I want you to know that I hate this so much. I need you to know. There are. You're not incorrect.
So there's a positive in this. You can say, I
don't hate the Miami Dolphins, right? Like, I don't have a grudge against the Dolphins. If this was a Dallas Cowboy or a Atlanta Falcons fan, I wouldn't take the bet, right? I wouldn't take the bet because I'm not doing it. I'm not putting on the star. I'm not putting on the dirty bird. I'm not doing it. I don't hate the Dolphins. And frankly, if I may, I'm kind of pulling off the turquoise, all right? I may have to work some more turquoise into my color palette because I'm kind of pulling it off. I don't hate the Dolphins, so it absolutely could be worse.
You knew you were going to do this, so you could have coordinated if you wanted to, but you wanted to make sure in paying up the bet that it stood out so much that people would know the only reason why he's wearing this combination is because he lost a bet.
No, the only reason I'm wearing this combination is because there is no turquoise nor orange in Rob's wardrobe. There is nothing I own that would have gone with this. I've got all the colors. I earned zero. I have no orange in the world. And that's not an anti-Clemson thing. I just don't think anybody looks good in orange. It's not a good color. All right. It's not a good fashion color.
Yeah, it's pretty ugly. Yeah, I gotta agree.
It's not a good fashion color. Nobody can pull off orange. It's why
unless you're picking up trash. You can pull it off that way.
Well, nobody's gonna tell you if you can't.
Or if you're out hunting for deer.
Yeah. Nobody can pull off orange and make it look good. It just can't be done. And that's not a shot at any particular football team. It's just a statement. Tennessee looks bad when they wear all orange. The worst uniforms in college football are the Florida Gators when they go orange helmet, orange shirt, orange pants, orange socks, orange shoes. It's the worst college football uniform in the world is Florida's all orange.
By the way, scoring update, if you're an Auburn fan.
Not going great.
You're down 7-0 already.
Yeah, one drive, one touchdown for the Cougs as they look off to knock off the Auburn Tigers. 7-0 H-Town after one Houston drive.
Because nothing says exciting bowl season like putting a bowl on in the middle of the day.
I'm not going to complain, man. I got football on while I'm doing the show. I'm here for it.
There's that. But again, good job with paying off the bet. Now, will you take another bet like this in the future?
I don't. So here's the thing. I don't ordinarily bet on the Saints, right? And I'm talking both money bet and fan/friend bet. I don't ordinarily bet on my own team because no matter how tremendously talented I am, and very is the answer. I'm very talented at being able to take my bias out when I talk about my teams on the radio, right? I think I do a pretty good job of getting rid of the bias when I talk about my teams on the radio. When you start putting money and when you start putting pride, as mine is hurt right now, on the line, your heart can get in the way. Now, again, Lonzo, I don't think I made a bad bet. I made this bet when when Taysom Hill was starting and there weren't half the active roster on the COVID list. I don't think it was a bad bet to make. I think a full-strength New Orleans Saints last night have a better shot at beating the Dolphins. I don't know that they would have, but I think it's a good game if the Saints are at full strength. I mean, they're talking about 2 7-7 teams, right? Good chance if they're healthy. And I made this bet before.
And they were coming off that performance against Tom Brady.
Knocked off the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I mean, they dominated.
Yeah.
So
shut out Tom Brady. I think we got a
he broke it over it.
Yeah. I think we got a good chance. By the way, did you see what Chauncey Gardner did? He sent a tweet to Microsoft asking if they could send him a tablet to give to a friend for Christmas because he broke his.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Microsoft responded with a user's manual section on how to not physically destroy your tablet. I think the Saints have a good chance of beating Miami if they're fully healthy, but I had already made the bet when Ian Book was named the starter. I had already made the bet when 22 guys went on the roster. There just wasn't anything I could do about it. And I felt, text me at 71307. Tell me if I'm right or wrong here. I felt like bailing out of the bet because of that was bad form.
Are there really a lot of Dolphin fans in the audience, or like people text in saying, look at the, because we're getting a lot of nice hats on the stream.
Oh,
there.
yeah. Jeff Baxley says, I love the hat. Chris Aiken stepped in and said, nice hat. I mean, they're absolutely, I got no doubt that Andrew's got a group text of every Dolphins fan in America sent out going, come look at the Saints fan with the Dolphins hat on. There's enough Dolphins fans in the Upstate. There's enough Dolphins fans in the Upstate that the watering hole that I went to, not only did I do this as a bet, but on top of doing this as a bet, I accompanied Andrew to the bar where the Dolphins fans of the Upstate fan club meets. I watched the game on his turf with my good-looking hair on the line today.
Well, all I've got to say is Andrew wins twice. He gets to see you wear the hat, and then he gets the hat back, and he can say this hat was worn by the guy.
I believe the term is
from the state of South Carolina, Rob Brown.
I believe it's called the law of diminishing returns or depreciating value, I think is the word.
Come on, man. He could make a couple bucks on eBay off of that thing.
it messed up if I autograph it before I give it back to him?
I think you should.
Text says, ESPN Upstate, it's a sign that Miami should be your new AFC team. By the way, it's aqua, not turquoise. Welcome to the Dolphins. And then another texter says,
it could be periwinkle. Who knows?
All right, is aqua a color? Let's go official colors Miami Dolphins on the old Google device here. Yeah, I guess it is labeled aqua. It is not turquoise. What's turquoise look like? I thought this was.
Were you actually able to spell turquoise?
Yeah, yes, I was.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Turquoise is a little bit. It's a little bit more green than blue.
So if you're at Walmart and you're going through the shirt aisle and there's a turquoise shirt next to an aqua shirt, are you going to go, that's turquoise and that's aqua?
And I could after today.
Okay.
It's not something I'm proud of, but I could after today. Texas says Finns fans of the Upstate of the Rio. I have met now 2 NFL fan clubs in this area. The Buffalo Bills fan club. They meet over at a bar on Woodruff. Are we allowed to say? I don't know if we're allowed to say the bars. I don't know. It wouldn't be bad, right? We're saying good things about them. I don't know. Anyway, they meet over.
Go ahead and say it. Go ahead.
They meet over at, I believe it's called Eastside Bar and Grill.
So you're not even sure. So there's every chance.
I'm like 90% sure.
Yeah, okay.
Right. It's Eastside over on, I want to say it's not Woodruff. It's
I want to flash the West Side symbol right now, but I don't want to be in trouble. So
they meet at Eastside, which is over on Haywood Road. And then the Finns fans of the Upstate meet at my little watering hole Hall of Fame, which is right there on Wade Hampton. So I went there with him. Dude, they were fine. They had a fine. Guy walks up to the table. He's like, hey, man, you can come sit with the Dolphins fans if you want. I was like, yeah, no, thanks. You already beat me 30-3 or whatever, 20-3. I don't need to hang out with you. So anyway, paying up the bet, would it have been bad form? Bad form, Shmee. Bad form. Would it have been bad form of me to call off the bet leading up to the game after we learned that Ian Book, the 4th-string practice squad quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, would be getting his first NFL start, and 22 guys were going to be on the COVID list? Would it have been bad form to call off the bet, or did I do the right thing by owning it up and wearing this very loud hat on the air today? Let's take a break. When we come back, the lunch breakdown. We knock out the 3 top stories in the world of sports you need to know before you sit down and have lunch with your friends, family, coworkers of the dog. I am with you today and tomorrow, which means, though, we got to fit in the entire college football semifinals discussion over the next 5 hours and 40 minutes or so. That's coming up next on The Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate.
Lights.
Christmas time has come again and gone, but the Upstate Holiday Light Show is still in effect, ladies and gentlemen. If you did not get a chance, look, Christmas time is busy. You got friends, you got family, you got to take care of the food and the presents and the gift wrapping. It can be a little stressful. Well, Christmas is over. Now you got some time off. So load the family up, take them on down to the Greenville Pickens Speedway, and go check out the 2021 Upstate Holiday Light Show. And when you do, you will get to have that full, relaxed Christmas experience that is going to become your family's new favorite holiday tradition. Go check it out today. You got until New Year's Eve to go enjoy the 32 million lights setting the sky above the Speedway ablaze, dancing to 30 minutes of your favorite Christmas holiday traditions. You want to check it out? It's real simple. Go to the Greenville Pickens Speedway or go to upstatelights.com. Upstatelights.com. Grab your tickets. Grab your Fast Pass so you don't have to wait in line, and start your new favorite holiday tradition with our friends at the Upstate Holiday Light Show.
Panthers are dealing with COVID issues. 6 players going on to the COVID list. In defensive end, Brian Burns, linebacker Shaq Thompson, defensive end Marquise Haynes Sr., defensive tackle Phil Hoskins, defensive tackle Davian Nixon, and center Matt Paradis. All are going to go. For Nixon and Paradis, they were already on injured reserve and out for the season, so that doesn't really affect the team. Speaking of the Panthers, head coach Matt Rules does say that he continues to have conversations with David Tepper, and he feels like he is confident in him. For Rule, he has not directly asked whether or not he's going to return next season. They play the forward this Sunday.
Load the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps.
With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Weekends at the Well are back for Furman University basketball. Panther Wellness Arena in downtown Greenville. For games over. We're the 8th, February 5th, and February 19th. Starting at just $40 individual game tickets are on sale. All the information at FurmanPaladins.com. It's Weekends at the Well. Furman basketball returning to downtown Greenville.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that can.
You're saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 20 gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
It actually add up to any
$100.
Wow, that's loading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play.
Yeah, Jeff, it was a really, really good movie. I agree. Rob actually saw it, so asked his spoiler. He's counting to make sure.
No, it's not Thursday. 2 weeks.
But since Rob told me that today is Thursday for him, that means it's perfectly okay.
Okay.
And as we've seen, as a man of his word.
It is the Rob Brown Show right here on ESPN Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and all around the world on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Throw it on your digital devices. Don't miss a minute of broadcasting of the South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year. So, I asked the question, would it have been bad form of me to back out of a bet that I made with our buddy Andrew, the president of the Reed River Riot? Would it have been bad form to back out of a bet where if the Dolphins beat the Saints, I got to wear a Dolphins hat on the air today? And if the Saints beat the Dolphins, he had to wear a Saints hat for the entire tailgate and first home Greenville Triumph match. So far, Lonzo, it is overwhelming on the text line, that it would have indeed been bad form to back out of the bet, which I think is expected, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you are a welcher, you're not going to say it was a good idea because then you're admitting that you're a welcher.
Welcher.
You're one of them welches.
All right. Let's get the let's do the thing we didn't do to start the show that's supposed to start the show.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
You guys are here.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
The lunch breakdown to 3 things you have to know before you go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworker, or the dog, whoever you spend your lunch break with. This will be the scuttlebutt. This will be the discussion around the lunch table today. We start with item number 1. I'm intrigued by this, Lon, so I'm curious to know if you are as well. HBO has announced that they have produced and are set to air an upcoming mini-series that is going to focus on the 1980s Showtime Lakers, the old Lakers dynasty, as I heard someone oddly pronounce it this weekend. The 1980s Lakers, of course, with Magic
I believe
Johnson.
that's the British
I
pronunciation.
believe it is, yeah.
So, yeah.
The 1980s dynasty of the LA Lakers, that included, of course, Magic Johnson, is set to air in the next couple of weeks. And after the documentary question mark about Michael Jordan, that was The Last Dance, which did incredible numbers, although it did do it during the COVID break when we had no sports, HBO's decided to jump into coverage of nostalgic basketball teams, and they're going to do the Showtime Lakers, who won 5 NBA championships back through the mid into the late 80s. Asked by TMZ on Sunday if he was going to watch this, he said, quote, "I'm not really looking forward to it. I'm going to leave it at that," end quote. Asked if he's planning on watching, Johnson said, and I quote, "No," end quote. His disinterest, according to Yahoo Sports, appears to be twofold. When initially asked about the show, Johnson immediately went into promo mode, touting a pair of upcoming shows authorized by those close to the 80s Lakers dynasty, including one by himself on Apple TV+. The other, according to Magic, was produced with the blessing of team owner and president Jeannie Buss. Johnson said, quote, "We've got different shows coming out. I've got one. Jeannie Buss got one on Showtime coming up. Those are the ones we're looking forward to," end quote. The series that is coming out on HBO is not the one that's authorized by the Lakers, by Jeannie Buss, by Magic Johnson, etc. It is scheduled to start in March. It is not a documentary. It is a docudrama tinged with comedy, according to HBO. One of the directors is Adam McKay, who delivered a couple of different movies with The Big Short and Vice about Dick Cheney that got some scathing reviews. HBO's teaser features John C. Reilly portraying then team owner Jerry Buss, and a couple of others, including, who looks remarkably like a young Magic Johnson, as a matter of fact. Lonzo, is Magic out because this is going to be too truthful about the Showtime Lakers? Or is Magic out because Magic's got his own show that he wants to get the glory?
All right, there's several things here, including, you didn't mention this in the story because you may not have known about this. The director and Will Ferrell have had a falling out because Will Ferrell wanted to be in this movie, and he wouldn't let him. So now they no longer talk, supposedly, but it's Will Ferrell, so who knows if it's true or not. Yeah. Magic's touting his own movie. He's not only is, that's what he does. He absolutely does that since he's been done with the NBA. He's got stuff going on all over the place. And why would you say, hey, don't watch that, watch this, because you want them to watch your own thing? If it were, would he be pushing it, though? I didn't read docudrama.
Yeah.
When I saw Jackie Ryan was in it, I was like, he's going to actually be in it. That's weird.
He's done some good, serious work here and there.
That is him, isn't it?
I'm not surprised they didn't let Will Ferrell in, because if you put Will Ferrell in, obviously it becomes a slapstick comedy. And I don't think they wanted. I think they wanted to have a serious look with some hints of comedy in it to keep you hooked. I got to think Magic. I got to think Magic's just doing this so that his own show gets all the gusto. But there's a part of me, based on some of the stories we've heard about NBA players and owners and coaches back in the 80s, that if they were getting true-to-life source stories from people who were there, even a guy as beloved as Magic Johnson, there's going to be some unflattering portrayals of them based on the way they went. So I'd go probably like 70% he's got his own show he wants to promote, and 30% he realizes that if they've got because if it's not your show, the reason that Magic and Jeannie want their own shows is so they can have final say, right? Like one of the scenes in the promo for the docudrama has John C. Reilly portraying Jerry Buss in bed with a younger woman, proclaiming, if there's two things in this world that make me believe in God, it's sex and basketball, right? Jeannie's not really going to be big on her dad being portrayed that way, which is understandable. But that makes me want to watch the HBO version of it better. Not because that's necessarily accurate, but because we're going to get a more accurate reflection of what really was. And much like now that we've heard Scotty and Rodman and Kukoc and all these guys come out and talk about The Last Dance, we realize that because Michael had control over The Last Dance, we got a pretty pro-Michael approach in The Last Dance that really left out a lot of his negatives. And that kind of bums me out a little bit. I'm more likely to watch the HBO series than I am either Magic or Jeannie Buss's series, because obviously they're going to paint themselves in the most flattering light. Whereas if the docudrama has sources who were there, it'll be a little more legit if they go that direction, unless it's just a fantasy series using the Showtime Lakers as its basis.
Well, right away, he is kind of wanting you to not watch it. The contrarian in me is like, I gotta check this out now. And so I probably will at least watch an episode.
Yep, I'm in. All right. Item number 2 on the lunch breakdown. We had a wild weekend in the National Football League, and our postseason is starting to take its form. Here's how everything looks right now. The Kansas City Chiefs, as it stands, have clinched a playoff berth. They have clinched their division. They have not clinched the overall number 1 seed yet.
Hey, where did that narrative go? What's wrong with Patrick Mahomes? What is wrong? Is it? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Whatever, dude.
11-4 are the Chiefs, and in first place in the AFC. They could still drop it technically because the 10-5 Tennessee Titans are nipping on their heels. They are a 99% chance to make the playoffs, according to the Football Power Index, a 94% chance to win the division.
And the Chiefs play the Bengals this week, and that's
Joey B putting up 525 on the passing stats.
That is a concern.
Yes, the Chiefs have the Bengals and the Broncos. A little easier road for the Titans, although the Dolphins look a lot better. They've got the Dolphins and the Texans, which means they've got at least a guarantee one more win. The Chiefs should beat the Broncos. But with 2 Tennessee wins and a Kansas City loss, Tennessee would actually take the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Or with 2 Kansas City losses and 1 Tennessee win, Tennessee would take the number 1 seed. Also in right now, 82% chance to make it in are the 9-6 Bengals, 73% chance to win the division. They've got the Chiefs and the Browns left, so not an easy out for Cincinnati. Buffalo's 96, 99%, 9-6, 99% chance to make the playoffs, 89% chance to win the division. They've got the Falcons and the Jets, maybe the easiest out available in the National Football League for the Buffalo Bills. The Indianapolis Colts are 9-6, 96% chance to win their division, or to make the playoffs, but only a 6% chance to win the division. They have got the Raiders and the Jags up left. It would be nothing short of a small miracle for them to come back and steal the division from the Titans. In the in a wild card spot right now, the New England Patriots are 9-6, 95% chance to make the playoffs. How about Mac and an 11% chance to come back and steal the division? So unlikely, but possible. They got the Jags and the Dolphins left. So one easy out. Maybe we'll see what happens with the Dolphins. Remember, the Dolphins did beat New England all the way back in week 1.
And they had a recent victory against the New Orleans Saints.
Correct. Thank you for reminding me.
Well,
how could I have forgotten?
Your hat reminds me.
Yeah, you know how I know the reflection in the glass in front of me is hurting my eyes from the aqua. Miami Dolphins are 8-7, 21% chance to make the playoffs. Dwindling, but they helped themselves yesterday. That was by the way, the Dolphins with that win, first team in NFL history, Lonzo, to have both a 7-game losing and 7-game winning streak in the same season. Never happened before. They are in the AFC playoff race. They are, the good news is they are guaranteed a playoff spot if they win the final 2 games. The bad news is those final 2 games are against the Titans and the Patriots. So not an easy out for Miami. The Ravens, Chargers, Raiders, all at 8-7, are still in the hunt. The Steelers are in the hunt at 7-1. The Browns and Broncos, both 7-8, are not mathematically eliminated, but the Broncos have less than a 1% chance, and the Browns have a less than 12% chance of getting in. Over in the NFC, the Green Bay Packers are currently at 12-3, and need just one win to lock up the number 1 seed. They got the Vikings and the Lions left to go, so Green Bay probably going to be your number 1 overall seed and get the first round bye. The Dallas Cowboys at 11-4. Reports of the Cowboys' demise may have been premature.
It was one game, man. It looked good, but it was one game.
I mean, 49.5. Ain't many teams doing that, Jack. Not a lot.
It was one game.
But is there a collapse coming? Is there a Dak collapse coming like there has been in years past?
I'm not anti-Dallas, and I hope they're fine, but come on. It's one game.
They have already clinched the playoff spot. They have already clinched the division. They've got the Cardinals and the Eagles left. The Rams are at 11-4. They have already clinched the playoff spot. Now they're just fighting to see if it's a wild card or a divisional win. They are at 74% chance, according to the FBI, to win the division. They got the Raiders and the Ravens and the 49ers left. Tampa Bay has already clinched the playoffs, as they have already clinched the NFC South with their victory over the Panthers, the first division championship since 2007 for the Buccaneers. They were a wild card team last year when they won the Super Bowl. The only thing left to decide is the seeding. They are still in a race with Green Bay. If they can take 2 wins, can the Buccaneers against the Jets and the Panthers, which again, if you're asking for an easy out, they got about as good as they can get it. If Tampa can get to 13-4 and get a little bit of help from Green Bay, they could still technically get the number 1 seed. Same is true with both Dallas and LA. The Arizona Cardinals are 10-5. They have clinched the playoff spot, a 1-4 chance to steal the division away from the LA Rams. The 49ers at 9-7, 78% chance to make the playoffs as a wild card, but they cannot win their division. So they've got to beat the Texans and the Rams to get in and get some help. The Eagles, 65% chance for Philadelphia to make the playoffs. They are eliminated from divisional contention. They got Washington and Dallas, and they've got to win out to make it in. Still in the hunt, the 7-8 Vikings, the 7-8 Falcons, the 7-8 Saints, and the 6-9 Washington football team are still all in the hunt. That being said, the Minnesota Vikings have a 17% chance to make it in. The Washington football team has a 6% chance to earn a wild card. The New Orleans Saints have a 1-3 chance if they can win out against the Panthers and the Falcons and get a little help. They could still sneak in as a wild card team. The Atlanta Falcons have a 1% chance to make it in as a wild card team, so likely not going to happen. When we come back here in just a minute, we spend a few minutes on the Carolina Panthers. Things not going well for Matt Rule, and you might see his name on ESPN later today. Tell you why when we come back. I'm Rob, he's Lonzo. This is ESPN Upstate. Jeff says Spider-Man rivals Endgame. Yes or no?
I mean, I would probably put it's top 5. I don't think it beats Endgame. Because I was thinking, but
no.
In Endgame, it does not. So from a emotional standpoint, it does not. Does the arrival of certain people in Spider-Man rival the arrival?
Maybe. I'm good with maybe. I'm going to go.
Is the villain bigger in Spider-Man than the villain? Because there's really one true villain in Spider-Man.
Yeah. Considering the whole point was the redemption of the others, there was only one bad guy.
Yes.
It's a great scene.
Oh, for sure. So I would say no. I would still go with Endgame ahead of Spider-Man. And for me, still, and this is me personally, I still think Captain America: Winter Soldier is still my favorite Marvel movie.
Patients are raving about it. For hip pain relief, knee pain relief, shoulder and back pain relief, don't let them keep giving you steroids, and don't let them tell you surgery is your only option. Get a free second opinion at QC Kinetics. Do it now and imagine life in 2022 without pain. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider and are only available if the provider determines prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices, and hence makes it extra affordable.
Wow, Jeff, you got Shang-Chi pretty high. I don't know if I put it that high. I liked it. I judge things a little bit more, especially movie-wise, about how I feel when I come out of the theater. If I come out and I can't wait to talk to someone about it, then that means more to me. Not sure Shang-Chi did that for me. I loved it, but yeah. Will Rob make it back in the room before the break is over? We shall see. I agree, Jeff. It was a very pretty movie.
My little brother has texted me, "Nice hat, loser."
We're here to take over.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's ESPN Upstate. Rob Alonzo and you can officially shut it down for the Panthers, ladies and gentlemen. I know that that's not exactly a narrow branch that I am walking out on right now, but after a 32-6 beatdown at the hands of Tom Brady and his Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you can go ahead and stick a fork in the Panthers. They were big underdogs coming into that game, and they showed you why. Did not go well for the Panthers. Cam Newton got the start. We did see Sam Darnold, who was booed, coming onto the field to replace Newton later in the game. Was that in? That might have been in. Was that in?
He's pointing like it was in, and I think he was out.
Yeah, I think he was out too. Auburn trying to level this thing up with the Cougs. 7-0 Houston with 12 minutes and some change left to play. No.
So why would Sam Darnold be booed with as bad as Cam Newton is? Newton. Oh man, that guy's got me. I said Newton. Oh,
Newton.
I quit.
Cam Newton.
It's as bad as Cam Newton has played. You would have thought Sam Darnold might come in and play bad. I mean, but no, it was so frustrating. It was so bad. I mean, you'd expect to be some good points somewhere, and I was just. It was hard to pay attention.
In the last 3 games, give me anything Carolina's got going good for them. Just find anything. Just anything. Run game's not. Can't find a quarterback that's playing consistently. Coaching is questionable at the best. The roster's garbage. The fans aren't out. When they are, they're booing the team. Just give me any positive.
Well, the defense is playing fairly good. And you know, you look at that beatdown and go, but if the offense doesn't move, you can only do so much out on defense. So the defense isn't horrible. It's been ranked in the top 5 most weeks. So there's something positive.
I mean, you're kind of having to bend over backwards a little bit to come up with that. With all due respect. I'm gonna go with
ever the optimist over here. Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to be. The Panthers. All right, here I'll give you the best stat I can find. Panthers are number 2 in the league in yards allowed. Number 2 in the league in yards allowed. In completion percentage allowed, they are, hang on, I got to scroll down to find them. In percentage, completion percentage allowed, they're about, we'll call it about 16th, so middle of the pack. In yards per attempt allowed, they're about number 10. In touchdowns allowed overall, which I think is one of the biggest indicators, the Panthers are, hang on, let me find them. Yeah, this is tough. I hate this shit. They're about number 20. They're about number 20 in touchdowns allowed overall. In total interceptions taken away, they are inside. They're about 13th. In passer rating.
You depressed me. So you couldn't give me that. You just couldn't get. So you had to go through and break down every last little thing to say, no, Lonzo, you're wrong. They're really that bad in every single way.
I mean, I did tell you that they're second in yards allowed. In QB passer rate, they're middle of the league. So yeah, they're about middle of the league. It is what it is. They're not bad. They're just not good. Right? I'm not putting up there with the dominant defenses in the league. 32 allowed to the Bills, 32 allowed to the Bucs, 31 to the Bills, 29 to the Falcons, 33 to the Dolphins, 27 to the football team. The last good defensive game was all the way back in November 14th when they took on the Cardinals. And remember, that was with, who was the quarterback for the Cardinals in that game? Yeah, do you remember?
The backup.
It was Colt McCoy.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the last good defensive game they
had. The guy who you didn't realize was still in the league.
Yeah. Colt McCoy was the last good defensive game the Panthers did. There is nothing going right. There is nothing going right at this point. I got into it earlier with some folks on Twitter who are going, it's time for Mac Rule to be fired. And I have to tell you, I think I agree, right? I think I agree. I'm not expecting this team to be out there. I expected to fight for 500 this year. You might be 5-12 when it's all said and done, right? You got one more date with Tampa. You got any reason at all to believe that Tampa doesn't just destroy Carolina again?
If Tampa decides that they can't secure the number 1 seed, or they have secured the number 1 seed and they sit everybody,
sit them in week 17.
There's an opportunity there.
Which, by the way, is unlikely to happen, right? Unlikely to happen because it may very well come down to Tampa and Green Bay's results in week 18. So there's no reason to believe that Tampa lightens up on the Panthers in week 17. If there's a win left, it's this weekend. It's this Sunday against New Orleans. It got moved to, by the way, flex to the 4:25 game. So the Carolina kickoff airing on Classic Rock 101.1 will be from 2:30 to 3:30 on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, but Carolina's also missing a bunch more players as of yesterday. A bunch of guys hit the COVID list. So as if it wasn't already bad, it's worse.
Yeah. By the way, Carolina's entire franchise is at home right now. They dismissed the entire team to go home today. They asked Matt Rule, hey, homie, how many guys do you have on the COVID list right now? How many tested positive? And he said a significant number after he dismissed everybody in the facility to go home. So the Saints might have problems with 22 guys on the list. Most of those will be able to come back this weekend. The Panthers sent everybody home. Nothing is going right for this team. If you're asking me for a reason to allow Matt Rule to have another chance, if you're asking me for a reason that I think Matt Rule should get another crack at it, I have zero. None. Talk more about that in the hour when we come back. My name is Rob Brown. Lonzo at the helm. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate. All right, we're back, amigos. Yeah, I think you're right, but like which one, right? All the big jobs are taken now. Everybody's got their guy. Oregon might have made a play for him, but they got their guy. USC, LSU, they all got their guys. Florida's got their guy. Who's left? I would have thought the same thing, but he needed to bail 4 weeks ago if he was going to get something at the college level.
By the way, I just want to put this out there. You know, if you navigate the hallway like you would like out on the highway, you wouldn't have near collisions when you're trying to, you know.
Well, you know,
because I try to go out of my way to not startle you. Oh, what a move that was! He just made everybody look stupid except for the one guy who decided to tackle him. Hey, look, he's got the ball. Of course, was that targeting? It looked like
you could make an argument.
Yeah, it's because
look where his face mask is. Face mask pointed, not even at the ground. It's pointed back at his feet.
he just went rhino on him. But so
That's a
did
good
the,
way to get your neck broke.
but so did the running back. All things considered, Auburn's hanging in there. You know, they probably shouldn't be playing so well against an 11-2 team. There we see it. They can fumble. Now, if you can just do that inbounds.
So at a house show, somebody shouted at Roman Reigns, "I loved you in Aquaman." And he responded, "It would have made more money if I was in it."
It's a good reply. It's not true, but it's still a good reply.
For his character, it's a perfect
Yes.
reply.
Who wins in a real fight, Roman or Jason Momoa?
All right, putting a bow on hour number one. No Joe Giglio today. He usually joins us on Tuesdays, but he is filling in on the lunchtime slot on WWIP, so he is unavailable. We'll get Joe back into the rotation, obviously, next week, but you know what that means? That just means that Lonzo and I get to give you our betting advice for our college football semifinal games.
Yeah, you want that from us for sure.
100%. 100%. Well, like 63%. You want like 63% of my betting advice. I'll take it. It's a good number. All right, we got some of that coming up. We'll finish up the Carolina Panthers conversation when we come back here in just a minute. Then we'll start breaking down the college football semifinal bowl games, as well as tonight's Cheez-It Bowl down in Orlando. I woke up feeling cheesiest, coach. Tomorrow's game. Tomorrow's Cheez-It game. And then Thursday, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, South Carolina, taking on North Carolina, a little border war action. We'll break those games down and our semis in the next hour of the Rob Brown Show. Rob, Lonzo.
Yeah, you have no idea what it is, do you?
It's Thursday for me on ESPN Upstate.
It's a day that ends in Y. All right, where are you? Come on. Come on.
all are going to go. For Knicks comparative, they were already on injured reserve and out for the season.
So if you thought the defense was playing well, the defense is all those players out are mostly defense. So
Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's.
So would you ever ask a coach, do you think you deserve to be back next year?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah, I would. I don't think that's, I wouldn't phrase it, do you think? Because obviously he's going to say yes. I would happily ask the question.
Do you believe you deserve to be back?
Why?
Next year?
What are the reasons you deserve to be back next year?
Okay.
Let me tell you, if you don't think this is a real job, you're such an idiot. It's a 24-hour job. You have to look the part, you have to be the part, you have to wrestle the part. Not only that, I do have a real freaking job. On top of that, I'm a wrestler and a dentist, so I'm not sure what it is your quote-unquote full-time job is, but I have 2 Plan A careers. If you're going to talk smack to anybody, I'm the wrong girl to do that to, because I will stick your face right in the mud and drop my foot on your head.
ESPN Upstate, the Rose Bowl game, presented by Capital One Patriots. We never quit you.
I mean, I can look it up, but I don't believe we are.
Okay.
We're carrying something.
Yeah. If you were listening to the show a couple of weeks ago, you heard a spot where I said that someone needed to take over command of steering the, and I used another word for boat, like a large version of a boat. And Lonzo pressed the dump button on me because apparently I did not pronounce the P.
Quit saying apparently. I think we proved that you didn't.
Because I definitely did not pronounce the P in ship. I did it extra P that time.
Yeah, I just don't trust you. I'm
Enunciated the P. The reason I bring this up is because as I scroll Twitter right now, Will Shipley, who is a running back for the Tigers, is rocking this t-shirt. And I am over the moon about it. Would you like to read his t-shirt, Lonzo, since I make you nervous?
I don't speak orange. So no, I will not.
His shirt has the first half of his name with happens. I'm not going to say it. I'm not even going to take the risk. Don't strain yourself getting to the dump button.
Which would imply that I would strain myself, and I would not. It would be fluid. It would be like watching water.
Just a classic athlete, ladies and gentlemen. Will Shipley is wearing a shirt with the first half of his name with the word happens after it. Boat happens, Lonzo. Boat happens. That's what we go with now. Will Boatley, ladies and gentlemen. Will Boatley is going to be a big part of the offense in the Cheez-It Bowl tomorrow.
He looks too preppy to be a running back, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's definitely more Zach Morris than AC Slater. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
By the way, Houston has just kicked a field goal and are now up 10-0 on the Auburn Tigers.
Quick, somebody check on Keegan. He may not be okay right now. Somebody check in on Keegan. He may not be all right. Watching the Auburn Tigers. I'm really excited about the breakdown tonight when the SEC fans start to tell me how much they just don't care about bowl games, how bowl games aren't taken seriously when they lose to a team out of the, what is it, All-American Conference, the AAC, I believe. We'll see how that goes. All right, let's talk Carolina Panther football for just a minute, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? Carolina Panther fans, to the 70 y'all that are still paying attention to your football team right now, can you do me a favor? Can you give me a silver lining? Can you give me a singular, one, uno, silver lining about this football team right now? Today, Lonzo, is the first day that NFL teams may begin interviewing assistant coaches from other teams about any potential head coaching vacancy. Today is the day that if a move was going to be made, that David Tepper could begin getting on the phone and talking to assistant coaches and front office folks from other NFL franchises to gauge the potential to move them into a head coaching vacancy should one come available. And if I had to list the NFL teams of whom I would hope a head coaching vacancy becomes a reality in the next 2 weeks, the Carolina Panthers are at the top of that list. I was all in for the Matt Rule experiment. I thought it was interesting. I thought it had potential. Rule seemed like a guy coming out of Baylor that players really liked, that players wanted to be around, that players wanted to chat with. I was more optimistic about him than Urban Meyer, because you'll find very, very few non-superstar former Florida Gators who will come out and speak positively of Urban Meyer. It has not worked. But worse than the fact that it has not worked, not only has it not worked, but it has not worked, and there is no growth, ladies and gentlemen. There is no growth at all. Is there a quarterback now that you see developing and getting better and getting ready to step in and take this team to a new level? No. Lonzo, would you say Cam Newton had a better year pre-COVID in New England last year than he did with Carolina this year?
Yeah, I think it was like undefeated before. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely.
Yep. I'm not trying to sit here and argue, ladies and gentlemen, that Cam Newton is a Pro Bowl player. I am saying that last year under Bill Belichick, Cam Newton was putting up better than respectable numbers and was not defeated until COVID took him out for a half a season.
I don't blame Cam Newton problems on the coaching staff. Cam looks like that guy that hit the wall. You know that the ultimate sports guy could do anything, and then suddenly that wall's there and just face plant right into the wall, and nothing works anymore.
That was me at 18.
Yeah, it happens to all of us. But the frustration on his face, like, I used to be able to do that. He can still run. I mean, but nothing else seems to be working for him. But I just don't think you could blame that on coaching. And you're right. I think COVID and age put such a thing on him to where he's just, I don't know if he's done for sure.
I think you're right. But I also wonder how much of that is on coach. Was there such a drop off from Cam from last year when he was doing good things with the Patriots?
And Bill Belichick. So so if Bill couldn't get it out of him,
but he was getting it out of him till he got the COVID fog, and he said specifically, "My brain is just not firing the way that it did pre-COVID." And I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Him being Cam, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that I believe him. He was fine at New England, but Hoodie also believed in Mac Jones, and that's going well this year, right? He made the right move. Cam could have come into Carolina and been a 67%, 3 TDs to every INT guy, and it would have been the right move for Hoodie.
Well, the other thing is, and Jeff points this out on the stream, that the offensive line is so bad. There's no quarterback in the league, the best one that you can think of, coming in. We saw how bad Patrick Mahomes played last year when he lost both of his tackles. Even the best quarterback is not going to play well behind this offensive line.
No, this offensive line's
and
bad.
Is that the coaching fault, or is that the guy who brings in the players' fault?
Yes. See all of the above. The defense on paper should be very good. Problem is, on the field, it's not. I mean, it's good. But when they brought Stephon Gilmore in from New England, with the defensive line that they have built, Carolina's defense should be good. They should not need to score 28 a game to win. They should be able to win scoring 17.
I remember the excitement on this program with you and with Rashad Beard about the defensive backfield, about how good it was going to be. And they're not at full strength, but still, they didn't live up to what we thought they'd be able to do.
They started the year relatively well. They just kind of fell off. That's on coaching. To me, they showed you they can do it. And then once teams looked at some film and figured them out, because we talk about that happening to offense all the time, right? You look at film, you figure out the system, you start to tinker and beat them. You can do the same thing to defenses. You can learn their tendencies, learn where their strengths and go away from them. Once teams got some time to look at Carolina defensive tape, the numbers just started plummeting and have continued to do so. But this is not just at a spot where I'm saying it's time to end the Matt Rule experiment. I'm at a point where I'm saying the front office has got to go. You don't call for these often, but the Carolina Panthers at this point need a full franchise reboot now. I'm talking full franchise reboot. Everybody not named Tepper has got to go and start this thing over, because
that seems like something that just happened just a couple years ago. Didn't it?
Okay. And
it didn't work.
Right. So do it again. You turn off the Xbox and you turn it back on and it doesn't work again. You don't just go, oh, well, guess I'll just sit here. No, you turn it off and you try it again. And if that doesn't work, you start changing out components of it, like all of them. Yeah, there was a franchise reboot a couple of years back, and it didn't take. So what do? Option A is keep on chugging along. Everything's great. It's not, guys. I have no reason to be down on the Panthers. When they're good, I make money. I like making money more than most other things in my life. I need them to be good. But ladies and gentlemen, tell me the silver lining right now. If you're a Panther fan, text me the silver lining to 71307. McCaffrey ain't the silver lining anymore. Chuba Hubbard ain't the silver lining. The offensive line is not. I couldn't even pretend to compliment them by saying they might have been. The defense was supposed to be. Maybe you don't have to blow up the entire defense, but the coaching staff on that side of the ball has wrecked that. I was optimistic about Sam Darnold. That's been bad. I was optimistic and excited for Cam Newton. That's been bad. PJ Walker clearly ain't the guy. Give me a silver lining, one single silver lining to hang your hat on and convince me that it's not time to blow up the franchise. Because I'm out. I got nothing left. Despite Lonzo's protestations to the contrary, I promise you, I am an optimist when I can be. But as a realist...
Isn't that contradictory? I'm an optimist when I can be.
When I can be. But as a realist and as a pragmatist, do me a favor. Give me anything. But the Matt Rule experiment, I think we can go ahead and chalk it up as a failure at this point. Today is the first day that David Tepper, and if he allows them to stay on, Scott Fitterer can start making calls to other teams to start looking for the new head coach. They better be on the phone today because Rule ain't the guy. And not only is Rule not the guy, but the one thing that I thought made Rule potentially different from the rest of the college coaches who come up and fail was that at Baylor and everywhere else he's been, it has seemed like players have been willing to fall on the sword for him, that players like him, that he's a player guy. And I thought maybe Matt Rule can translate that over to the NFL level. Maybe he can be the one guy who translates that over to the NFL level. Lonzo, how many Carolina Panthers players have you heard defending Matt Rule so far this season in the midst of a 5-game losing streak and a 5-10 record and a likely 5-12 record coming down the pipe?
None that I recall.
None. There are players defending Mike Tomlin, who is a question mark right now to return for the Steelers. Pete Carroll's had guys defending him, including his franchise quarterback to some degree. There's no Panther players defending Matt Rule right now. And I'm not saying it's their job, but if they liked Matt Rule, they would be. And frankly, they ain't. They're just not. The one thing that I thought Matt Rule had going for him is I thought Matt Rule would be able to win the roster over and guys would buy in. So even if it took longer than he would have liked to get his guys and his system in, we are 2 years in. And not only are we seeing, I mean, would you say this year, I mean, I guess technically in terms of wins, it's an improvement from last year. Alonzo, does this look like a team for you that next year, if Brady walks away, could compete for an NFC South?
No. You know what this reminds me of? And I just thought of this. This reminds me of Will Muschamp's last season. You're looking at the players and they're trying, but it's just nothing they can do. And it's sad. It really is sad. It's to the point where I am, the Panthers are my NFC team to where I almost just don't want to watch them the rest of the season. I'm going to, but I almost don't want to.
Yeah. It's hard to watch Carolina right now. You got any, listen, if there's a win on the schedule, it's this Sunday against New Orleans. We still got to find out, is Taysom Hill back for the Saints? 22 guys on the COVID restricted list. Are they going to be back? How many of them are going to be back? Saints Panthers. You got any interest in that game on Sunday, Alonzo?
I do have interest from this standpoint is we have no idea if either of them can field a team. And if they do, what's it going to look like? It could be such a bad, two bad teams playing that makes the game decent. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that happens. Two bad teams playing each other. And it ends up being entertaining.
Maybe. Who's the better team right now at full strength? Saints, Panthers.
Saints.
Yeah. Even with Taysom Hill, they're a better team.
What do you mean even with?
He's not that good?
If you had to choose between Taysom and Darnold and Cam, who would you take?
Right now, Taysom. So that question mark there is, are you intrigued about, are you going to watch the Panthers? Will you finish out? Or have you checked out? They got Carolina weekend.
I think if
Tampa Bay. You watching that one?
If you're a fan of the team, you're going to watch at least some of it because there's always that glimmer of hope. Yeah, the season's over, but they could still play decent. They might be able to pull off a win. It's possible. And I am still a fan of the team, so I'm going to watch at least some of it.
I got nothing. I'll watch them because I got the Carolina Kickoff Show on Classic Rock 101.1, and I'll already be at Wings Etc. in Boiling Springs, 2644 Boiling Springs Road. Come see me. I'll watch it because I'm already there. But it's more like, put that on the small TV. I got bigger games to watch, even though that's the team that I cover. There's no silver lining here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to move on from Matt Rule. The experiment has failed. I feel like we can pretty much say that conclusively at this point. Experiment means there's still a silver lining. Experiment means there are still variables out of our control that we can mess with, or within our control that we can mess with, tinker with, and try to end up with a better solution. Give me that silver lining. Give me that silver lining that I can go, okay, things aren't going great, but this right here is better now than it was 12 weeks ago, and we can grow on that. What is it?
I have to correct myself. I won't be watching because Chiefs and Bengals are on at the same time, and that game actually means something.
There you go. There you go. Not only are the Carolina Panthers largely irrelevant on the NFL picture right now, but again, as somebody who wants them to be good, for my own selfish financial reasons, I want them to be good. I got nothing to grow on. I got nothing to grow on. The run game isn't there. The passing game's atrocious. The defense, which should be great on paper, is average is the best compliment I can give them. The coaching calls are bad. And there ain't a Carolina Panther out there that's coming out and going, yeah, we're struggling right now, but we believe in Coach Rule and his system and his process, because none of them do.
Maybe your negativity is catching with me, but I can't help to think, at some point in the season you go, well, next year, well, what does Carolina have to look forward to?
That's exactly
next
what
year?
I'm saying.
Yeah, that's not
exactly what I'm saying. What is there to grow on?
McCaffrey might be healthy for
You trust
3
in that
games.
right now? For 2-3 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, you trust in McCaffrey to come back and play a season full healthy?
No.
Nope. Is Chuba Hubbard the guy? And I think Hubbard's going to be a fine second option running back in the league. Is he the option to take over as the one spot? Nope. Can freaking Bo Jackson run behind that offensive line right now? Nope. Sam Darnold might be the greatest quarterback of all time, but behind that offensive line, he's never going to get the chance to show it. And again, defensively on paper, this team should be one of the top 2 or 3 defenses in the league. They're about number 14. I am asking you, if you're a Panthers fan, show me right now where it is that you have something to grow on for next season, because I got nothing. And if I got nothing to grow on between now and next season, it's time to cut the string and let Matt Rule fly. Let him go. Start calling other teams. Eric Bieniemy is right there in front of y'all. Everybody else is passed up on Eric Bieniemy. Give that man a call.
Don't. There's got to be a reason why. There's got to be. He's been interviewed. Maybe he's just not a good interview or something.
That's the reports from those in the know are that Eric Bieniemy's a terrible interview.
Because he is
pressure,
pushed by everybody. It is a popular thing to say that he should be the next coach. But there's got to be a reason why he's getting passed on.
The rumor is he is a bad interview. You got some folks that love to speculate that it's a race thing. I'm sure that there is maybe a case or two where that is the case. But he's right there, Carolina, and he's been waiting, and he's been standing at the front of the line. Jacksonville's not calling him right now. He's right there about to go win another AFC championship. And you guys are going to run this Matt Rule experiment one more time? When there is absolutely zero positivity out of it? Good luck. See you in the eliminated from the playoffs category in week 12 next year, too. He's Lonzo. I'm Rob. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is ESPN Upstate.
By the way, something to check out later. Goldberg is on McAfee.
Really?
Yeah. Auburn's still not out of this game. It's just a touchdown. Chris didn't deliver on the screens, by the way.
Oh, you're good over there now?
No, he never fixed it.
Oh, he did not deliver.
I'm guessing he forgot.
Ooh, nice pass. He did that. Winger.
Yeah, it did. Good throw, good catch.
Followed by a horrible throw. Non-catch.
While UCLA is 4-1 against the number as underdog, with no major opt-outs to worry about, and UCLA having one of the worst passing defenses in the country, leads to the Wolfpack side of this one.
Imagine the organizing possibilities with Lowe's. Or keeping it all together comes the Project Source Clear Storage Tote starting at $238. And iDesign plus the screw storage bin starting at $12.98. Clean up your closet with the Closet-Made Brightwood Closet Kit starting at $119.98. Find it all at Lowe's Store and Save with them in-store and on Lowe's.com. Lowe's, home to any budget. Home to any
Browns.
Value 318. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. U.S. only. iDesign plus the screw storage bin. Pricing excludes basket and walk.
Do you really want to go through another year with that awful joint pain? Resolve right now to get yourself moving again for 2022. Hey, it's Charlie James. It's time to call QC Kinetics. Non-surgical regenerative treatments for joint pain. We're talking lasting results using natural biologics. No surgeries, no pain meds, no steroids, and no downtime. This is really exciting stuff. Regenerative restorative treatments that actually encourage the body to heal itself.
Run the ball. Run the ball, Clemson.
It's boat time.
Yes. Boat happens. Run the ball. DJ Uiagalelei was the focus coming into this year. By week 7, we realized he should not have been. Needed my guy to hand it off. 55% completion percentage, 9 touchdowns, 9 picks, a 109 passer rating, last amongst qualifying ACC quarterbacks. Run the ball. Not only do you have Will Boatley back there at the RB spot, you don't have your full complement of already questionable pass catchers. Justin Ross skipping the game to prep for the NFL draft. Joseph Nagata has been out since early November with a foot injury. Have not heard an update on whether or not he's going to go. Who's the number one guy available for you in this game? Will Shipley, ladies and gentlemen. Emphasis on the P. It's the one guy that's available to you that has been a consistent producer all year long. Cyclones gave up just 309 yards per game, good for 10th nationally. And they also had the 13th ranked pass defense nationally. The two ends on the outside, Will McDonald and Ioma Uwazaruki, and I'm butchering that name.
I'm going to say well done. I have no idea, but it sounded like it was right.
25.5 tackles for a loss on the year. 20 of those were sacks. Mike Rose joined the 2 defensive linemen on the All Big 12 first team. Defensive back Aisheem Young was a second-team selection. They have got some playmakers in the pass rush game. Run the ball. Now, what I'm interested by, we've talked about this. What's the good of the bowl games, right? What's the relevance of the bowl games? And the answer from just about everybody has been, it's extra practices. You get 15 extra practices.
Chance to evaluate young talent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
15 extra practices, an exhibition game to maybe test some stuff out. There's a chance that they just turn DJ loose to see what DJ does, right? If you're not worried about the outcome of the game, which frankly, in the grand scheme of things, shouldn't be. Who cares, right?
But if you're a player and you look over, you're used to seeing a certain coach who's your position coach and they're not there, does that cause you to have a little less motivation? I'm curious about that. If that's your guy, if that's the guy who gets you pumped up and he's not there anymore.
Yeah. If Venables isn't on the sideline, does the Clemson defense get fired up without him? Because they need that. They need the defense. Iowa State's offense is not great.
Is the kickback coach just going to stand there with his hands out? He's just not holding on to anything and just looking forlorn. I'll miss coach.
Cyclones offensive preparation. They lost running back Breece Hall, who has decided to skip the bowl game. He was a Doak Walker Award finalist. He was the 2021 Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year and was the primary weapon for the Cyclones. 1,472 yards on the ground, 20 touchdowns, caught 36 passes for 3 more scores. Jarrell Brock is a good second running back option, but he's not Breece Hall. Brock Purdy, starting quarterback. Lots going to be asked of him. His 2 top pass catchers, wide receiver Xavier Hutchinson and All-American tight end Charlie Kohler, are the 2 guys that you want to keep an eye on if you're Clemson's defense against the pass. But again, is Clemson going after this game because they want to win? Or is Clemson going after this game because it's a good little exhibition and they get to see what they got to see out of practice for the last 15 practices? How do they approach this game? What's the mentality of attacking this game? They're playing for a win. I expect them to run the hell out of the ball. I expect Will Shipley to get 28 carries in this game. If they are playing to see what young guys are going to step up, if DJ Uiagalelei has picked up a little bit of confidence with those wins toward the end of the season, including over Wake Forest and over South Carolina, maybe they spin it a few more times than we would think. I don't know. Part of the fun of the bowl game is because you don't know what team you're going to get. Now, I don't know what we're going to get from Clemson. Are they going to attack to try to get a W? Or are they going to go out there and utilize this as effectively a practice scrimmage to work on having a more effective passing game next year with DJ at the helm? Assuming DJ's at the helm, which is not a guarantee.
Let's hope they don't make the mistake of taking Iowa State lightly.
Iowa State's a physical team, man. They're a physical team. Their pass rush, their run defense in the line of scrimmage is as good as Clemson's faced all year, I think, with the exception of Georgia, who they didn't score on. So, there's that. It's a physical team up front. They're going to attack, and they're going to attack you hard. Does Clemson go out there to win this game, or do they go out there to have an exhibition and warm up for next year? We won't know till tomorrow night. Quick break. Back after this to wrap up Hour 2 of the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. The 2022 Upstate Golf Card is now on sale, ladies and gentlemen. Christmas is gone, but, sometimes you just came up a touch short on the gift giving. Happens to the best of us. Well, if you got a golfer in your family and maybe you slipped on a good Christmas present, this is it. $99 going to get you 18 holes at 10 of the best upstate golf courses like the Preserve at Verde, the Rock Golf Club and Resort, Rolling Green, and you can get yours today. Go to upstategolfcard.com. You can see the entire list of courses. You've got from now until December 31st, 2022, over a year to pick up your card and get your 10 rounds in. You got somebody you like a little quiet time? Hey, hun, I want you to go out and enjoy a few rounds of golf on me. Love you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Or if maybe they like to golf too, what's better than a good day out on the links for a date day, right? Get out there early, get you 18 in, hit the clubhouse for a sandwich on the way home, go home, take a nap. It's a great day. You got to go to upstategolfcard.com, upstategolfcard.com to get yours now. It's the 2022 Upstate Golf Card. Did Rob poison Zoe with food? No, I did not. I wasn't even in town, Steven.
Well, if you were going to poison someone, not being in town is a good alibi. No, I ate something that overcooked, undercooked, I don't know, whatever it was, at a restaurant, and I got halfway through with it and realized that something wasn't right, went home, and then was ill for the majority of my vacation. But I got well enough by Christmas Eve and had a decent Christmas and am almost back to whatever normal is now. Almost. But it was not.
Ooh, Tank. So here's the question, Zoe. What am I wearing to Raw on Monday? Do I go with a classic Macho Man shirt?
I already know what I'm wearing. You'll be able to see me.
Yeah. Do I drop the dime and pick up something new?
I don't know. I mean, would you get it in time?
Well, I'd probably get something off of Amazon Prime.
Again, would you get it in time? How quickly does it deliver? Right? It is after Christmas, so I will be rocking my bright blue new T-shirt. So when the crowd is scanned, you will see me for sure.
We should be in camera range, I think. 130. Let me see what 113 is.
And they don't always film right there. And I'm not the guy that goes crazy when the camera comes around because, And if Rob is sitting in front of me, there's no point because, he'll be jumping up and down. They won't see me anyway.
We're going to be hard cam side, I bet.
Yeah, I believe that's what it is. They're good seats, but it's not necessarily TV side. You're on the side where you can see the announcers. You're not by. They're off in the distance, but enough to where you can also see behind the producers to see what all they're doing and stuff like that. I personally like the side. The seats are good. You can You can see everything, including them coming down the ramp and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I mean, there aren't really any bad seats in the well anyway. But being on TV is not that big
Friend
a
of
deal.
the show in Greenville Swamp Rabbit, Roshan Jaswal's coming with us.
I can't wait to meet him.
Love it.
A couple members of my family are not feeling well right now, so I don't know for sure if they're coming. So then the question is, do I give up the tickets or do I enjoy the space around me?
It starts at 8, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll do some dark matches early.
Sometimes. But I haven't been post-COVID shutdown, so I don't know what they do as far as that goes. And let's face it, with depleted rosters, do they even have the people to do that anymore? They used to film something else, and I can't remember what it was.
Was it Main Event?
Main Event, yeah. But I think that's only like a half hour, so like around 7:30, 7:20, something like that. Just have to look up and see when the doors open.
You got to take where these teams accomplish these stats in relation to where they actually are. But Iowa State, number 10 overall defense in the country.
Who's a tougher conference, though?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Clemson, but here's the thing. If you look at those same statistics, Iowa State gives up 310 a game. Clemson gives up 308. Iowa State's given up 32 touchdowns. Clemson's given up 21. Iowa State's given up 29 on offense. Clemson's given up 17. Iowa State allows 5.14 yards per play. Clemson allows 4.44. Statistically speaking, it's going to be a fight. But again, does either team approach it as we want to win this damn game? Or is it we have 15 practices, let's go out there, put them into effect, and get ready for next year? We'll see. We'll break that game down further tomorrow. We'll talk Duke's Mayo Bowl coming up next. And Lonzo and I give you our early look at our college football semi-final playoffs next on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
It's time to go get me a new pair of headphones. There's a Guitar Center down the road that usually has a pretty good selection. So Auburn is now within 4. So that's the second time in my lifetime I've had food poisoning. I don't recommend it.
I've heard.
It's not pleasant.
Never had it.
Was worried I would not be able to enjoy the Christmas lasagna, but I was able to enjoy the Christmas lasagna.
Christmas lasagna seems to be a thing a lot of folks have checked in on.
Well, you just had turkey, and I think Easter is more of a ham type thing. I really don't think that unless you're into Charles Dickens, A Christmas Goose, I think, what's really affiliated with Christmas as far as, do you go turkey again? I just think you just had it the month before. And I wanted to start a tradition in my family that wasn't in my immediate family.
Right.
And then when you're at the grocery store getting all the ingredients, you see a bunch of other people getting the same ingredients. So. But we always put it together the night before. Because if you put the lasagna together with the hard noodles in with everything, the noodles soften by the next day. So, yeah. Oh man.
The third, the five, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, Upstate, South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. Great to be back with you. I am Rob, the great one. Lonzo at the helm, 844-GSP-ESPN. Be a part of the show. Shoot us a text on the Ingles Market text line, 71307, 71307. Start your text with ESPN. We will read them on the air as well. A couple of things I wanted to get to on the broadcast today. Last night in the game, I don't know did you get to watch much of the Monday night game last night?
I had it on the entire time. I didn't pay attention to some of it because I was also doing something else, but I was definitely had it on.
There was a spot inside of the game where Ann Book, the Notre Dame quarterback, turned New Orleans Saints quarterback. By the way, here's an impressive stat. Lonzo, quarterbacks who played at Notre Dame have lost 24 consecutive NFL games without a win.
I am not surprised.
The last win by a Notre Dame quarterback was by Brady Quinn
I was going to say
back
probably
in 2012.
Yeah.
Yep.
What,
24.
When he was with Cleveland?
I have to go back and look it back up. See if I can find it again. I tweeted out at the Rob Brown Show on Twitter, at the Rob Brown Show. Let's see. Brady Quinn, week 13. You know who he beat?
Yeah, now I'm guessing it's probably Kansas City.
It was Carolina.
Was it? Okay.
Carolina, yep. Back, that is 24 consecutive L's. Last win by Brady Quinn back in week 13 to the 2012 season against the Panthers. Anyway, Ann Book took a very clear and obvious helmet-to-helmet hit on a throw from a Dolphins defensive lineman. No flag. Saints at this point are sputtering offensively. They've got close a couple times but couldn't finish drives. Sputtering on offense. He takes a hit head-to-head, which would have given them a first down and moved them to around midfield. No call. I said, half jokingly but definitely seriously on Twitter last night, something to the effect of, if that hit was on Tom Brady, the entire Miami Dolphin offense would have been executed on the spot, right? I mean, here, I got it pulled up. If this hit happens to Brady, Zoe.
Yeah, I saw it and I saw your tweet. So yeah, but it was a lot of fun to watch again. Thank you.
I mean, the dude just takes a helmet-to-helmet absolute shot.
There's
it wasn't a bad tackle.
No, it wasn't. There's something you don't know because you're a Saints fan. When all the Saints fans are out of the room, the rest of the world plots against the New Orleans Saints.
I knew it. I knew it the whole time.
Yeah, we do that and we set things up just to make New Orleans Saints fans have another bad call to talk about.
I believe it.
Or non-call.
Lonzo, if that's Tom Brady, is that called?
Oh, without a doubt.
If it's Aaron Rodgers, is it called?
Absolutely.
If it's Patrick Mahomes, is it called?
Absolutely.
If it's Lamar Jackson, is it called?
Lamar Jackson didn't get hit like that. He moves too quick.
Fair enough. point that I'm making here is forget it's the Saints. That happens to Ben Roethlisberger. Is it called? Justin Herbert. Is it called? Yes. It's yes to all of them. It's absolutely called to all of them. This was not like a bang play that it was easy to miss, right?
Yeah, but it's
just a blown
it's
call.
the same thing as the stars get all the calls in the NBA too. That's just how it goes. It may not be right, but
it may be
that's
crazy.
what it is.
God, it's awful. It's awful. It's atrocious.
Did that make a difference in the game, or are you just looking for something to else to be upset about?
Yes. Yes to all of it. Yes to all of it. Texas says, interesting stat. No team has started 1-7 and made the playoffs. No team has had a 7-game winning streak in November and December and missed the playoffs. Miami has done both. First off, Miami is not in the playoffs yet. They're sitting at like 26% chance of making the playoffs now. No team has also ever had a 7-game losing streak and a 7-game winning streak in the same season, and they've done that too. Does not mean they make the playoffs. There's still a lot of battle to be done in the AFC. By the way, speaking of the Duke's Mayo Bowl, we love with that going out. Zeb Nolan getting the start. Obviously, Jason Brown out of the equation. He has entered the transfer portal for the second time. He is deuces laid a piece. So Zeb Nolan's going to get the start. And we know now that the number 2 spot is going to be Colton Gauthier. Is it Gauthier or Gauthier? So where I come from, Gauthier would be Gauthier or Gauthier. But I don't think y'all say it like we say it.
I'd go with the latter just because it sounds so much cooler.
Colton Gauthier. Yeah. That's how we say it down where I'm from. I don't know how y'all say it up here. Right? Anyway, he gets the second spot. Jake Helfrich, a walk-on from Charlotte, is going to be the third quarterback in the rotation for the Duke.
So how many quarterbacks did South Carolina have? Is that normal for any team?
Yeah, most college teams are carrying
like
3,
5 teams,
maybe 4, yeah. Some more.
Yeah, I mean,
but you get a lot of guys that are.
No, they would have had to have 5, right?
No, they had Jason Brown. They had Zeb Nolan.
No, you got Doty.
You got Luke Doty. Colton Gauthier. Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah,
well, one's a walk-on, though. One's a walk-on.
So he doesn't count. He does to him and to his family and to his friends, but, to everybody else, he doesn't count.
Shane Beamer was asked about the situation with Jason Brown off the roster, and he said, quote, "It's adventurous," end quote. Gotta love that.
I'm sure he was smiling when he said it, too.
He said it's adventurous right now with Jason gone. Obviously, Zeb has been back there. Colton, we have high hopes for. Jake Helfrich is a walk-on from here in Charlotte. That is a good player that is obviously getting a lot of work as well. We've got a lot of guys on our team that were high school quarterbacks, so particularly with COVID and challenges of that right now, you hate to, but you've always got to think about worst-case scenario. Most prominent former quarterback, wide receiver Dakereon Joyner, spent more than a year and a half on campus as a full-time passer and later stepped in and led the team that finished the 2009 upset of Georgia. 2019 upset of Georgia. Starting safety R.J. Roderick and off-injured receiver Xavier Legette have also played under center as run-first quarterbacks in high school. Joyner rotated in as a Wildcat passer this season, mostly running the ball, but the Wildcat formation was largely ineffective for South Carolina this year. Doty obviously stepped in at one point, but that foot surgery ended his season a few weeks later. Nolan struggled. Brown came in for the final 4 games of the regular season. He was decent but unpolished. 721 yards, 8 touchdowns, led the Gamecocks to upsets of both Auburn and Florida, but obviously got pulled from the game where they got absolutely slapped by the Clemson Tigers 30-0 in a shutout. Beamer said, quote, "You want to make sure you've got enough quarterbacks to play the game. So I'm not going to say we've had open tryouts, but you've got a kind of break glass in case of emergency type thing as well," end quote.
That sounds like an open. I'm not going to say that we had open tryouts,
but we're freaking out, man.
But some people who weren't playing quarterback at the beginning of the season are trying their hand at it.
I'm freaking out, man. When the team added Spencer Rattler as a transfer, Brown departed, obviously, which has led to this situation for the bowl game,
Well, why
I bet
can't
you they'd trade it?
why can't Spencer Rattler play?
It's not how it works, man.
Why not? He transferred in.
For next year.
So he has to wait till the next season.
Yeah.
He can't just jump right in.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. That'd be hilarious.
Oh, they'll fix that.
Yeah.
They'll fix that eventually.
So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. The good news for South Carolina is that scarcity at QB is not going to be a problem. As of right now, Luke Doty will be back next year. Spencer Rattler will be on campus next year. Colton Gauthier will be on campus next year, redshirted this season. Plus, they've got both Tanner Bailey and Braden Davis, who are both blue chip recruits coming in as well. Shane Beamer is going to have a better quarterback room than some conferences have next year if two of these guys pan out. Between Rattler, Bailey, Davis, and Doty, if two of those guys pan out, Shane Beamer is going to be in good shape.
I think you should pick up a couple of JUCOs too, just cause.
Just make sure you got play.
Yeah, why not?
Tanner Bailey is the number 218 player overall in the 2022 class, has a relationship with Marcus Satterfield, but was also being recruited by Joe Moorhead. Glass.
I just hadn't had a chance to do that. Carson Wentz has been placed on the
okay.
COVID list.
All right. Not great news for Philly.
Who was our breaking news brought to you?
Brought to you by our friends at BetQL. BetQL, be a better, be smarter, and beat the books. Go to BetQL.com. I just said the Eagles. He's with the Colts. Duh. My brain is not off of Christmas week yet, man. Like, I'm just not.
And it's getting ready to go back on. Well, yeah, so.
I'm facing the senioritis right now, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm here with you for another 46 minutes and 20 seconds today. We're only till what? 2:00 tomorrow?
2:00 tomorrow, and then we got bowl games throughout the rest of the day.
We're noon to 2 tomorrow. We got bowl games all day. You will actually get a 30-minute segment, oddly enough and fun enough, from 6 o'clock to 6:30. You'll get a 30-minute segment with me tomorrow, leading into the Furman basketball game. And then I'm off on Thursday. I'm off on Friday. I'm off on Saturday. I'm off on Sunday. 4-day weekend. And then we go back to real life on Monday.
Man, that's going to be that first week back is always.
That Monday's going to suck.
Yeah, but
no, it's not. Work's going to suck. Then we're going to Monday Night Raw.
You're right.
Yeah.
So we got that to look forward to.
Yeah. So I got 4 days of vacation and then Monday Night Raw on Monday. Spend all year talking about how bad Raw is, and as soon as they come to town, I'm like, I'll take all the tickets, please. Take them all.
And you're taking a celebrity with you. You don't have to point out who that is.
No, that's fine. We talked about it. That would be friend of the show and current Greenville Swamp Rabbit Roshan Joswal is going to join us at the show. Lonzo and I will both be there.
Never hung out with a hockey guy.
A hockey player, yeah.
At professional wrestling. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
We may have another celebrity guest joining too. I'll let you know later.
Ooh.
I know. It's gonna be awesome. Texas says Cam Newton used to get hit with a lot of no calls too. That's probably what caused him to dress like grandmama. Leave Cam's fashion sense alone.
Yeah, you know what?
My guy's building a brand over here.
People just don't get it. His hats are excellent, but they're way too expensive.
But people are still buying them.
I'll get me one eventually.
Let's see. I'm curious. Let's see. Cam Newton's hats. Cam Newton introduces new Superman hat collection. This article is from October 18th. Cam Newton's hats are selling for the Superman hat collection. Includes a model called Number One Superhero. Sells for stab in the dark, Lonzo. How much is Cam selling his? This is the bottom of this line. What's it cost?
$57.
$750.
I was close.
He sells another hat called the Clark Kent, $750. He sells a hat called the Man of Steel, $950. And another hat called Man of Steel 2, $950. You can make fun of Cam's hat all you want, but Cam's selling these bad boys for a G a piece, and there's people buying them.
And
there
that's
they are right there, Zoe.
That's
I don't
just
hate that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's just one line of hats.
Yeah.
He's got most of the hats you see him wear. I don't know if he has a hand in design them, but they're from his line. And yeah, make fun of him all you want, but you can't afford what he's wearing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, beat up on Cam all you want, but people are buying a G hat off him. But no, you're right. Cam Newton took a lot of uncalled hits too. And unfortunately, and Lamar's in this boat as well to some degree. But when you are a running quarterback, you are treated like a running back instead of a quarterback. Something the NFL consistency has always been the problem with the NFL. Consistency of how they officiate on the field and regulate off of it has always been my biggest gripe with the NFL, and it's gotten worse under Roger Goodell. That's why when we talk about Roger Goodell, honk, honk, I get mad at him because there's just zero consistency to how this is all laid out. All right, I've been all over the place. Let's take a break and come back here in just a minute. 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307. When we come back here in just a second from right now, let's take a look at our semifinal games. We got Michigan taking on Georgia, Cincinnati taking on Alabama. Alabama player said something absolutely hilarious to me earlier. Claimed that they are the underdogs in this game. Okay. Break that down when we come back. Rob Lonzo, it's ESPN Upstate. What suite are you guys going to be in? I'm going to be there too. Should I make a sign so you guys can see it?
Yeah, we're not going to be in a suite.
We will not be in a suite.
We'll be down low.
We will be down
fairly low.
Not on the floor, but the very I think 2 rows up in the first audience section.
Yeah, they're really good seats. It's the same seats every time they come around. So, you know, and I don't know how closely they guard that now.
Yeah.
But if you yell, we'll probably hear you, especially before. I don't know how early Rob will get there, but I usually get there fairly early. So,
but yeah, Trey, if you're there, come find us, buddy. I'll be the good-looking guy that looks like me. Love to see you. Do you like when people come up and say hi to you when you're at an event like that?
We've had this discussion before. I'm okay with saying hi.
Yeah.
But if you Oh, look at that. He's going to day one because of his boss. So
nice. Where is day one? You know?
Georgia, I think, isn't it?
Is it in Atlanta?
I think so.
I might have driven over for that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's on New Year's Day. I mean, if you're willing to do that.
It is Atlanta. I might have driven over for that. I'd have considered it.
Well,
hey, babe, do you want to go to a Sunday wrestling show and then a Monday?
No, it's Saturday. Show? It's Saturday.
Is it Saturday?
Yeah, so I'm going to watch the Ohio State Buckeyes win their bowl at 5:30, I think it is. It should end just in time for me to watch day one.
You say you saw Chris is out, huh? Olive decided to sit out to get ready for the league.
He's going to be a pretty good receiver for somebody. It's Olave. I'm just sitting there like, why can't I think of what his real name is? I know he's saying it wrong. Yeah, it's one of those things. While that game is on, do not bother me.
Yeah.
It's not about me. It's about my wife. So don't bother me with work or anything because she gets angry.
I also want AEW to come to Greenville.
I'm sure they'll get to it eventually. They're especially with them going to TBS.
Yep.
Them following, a lot of what WCW did, they can't avoid coming here. They got to come here eventually.
Concurred.
I'm trying to think what the last WWE show I saw might have been a house show.
It was for me. Actually, the last WDBE show I saw was a house show in Pensacola, and it was New Day versus who are they fighting? FTR, and I don't remember who FTR was.
I hope so, Trey. That would be cool because I used to watch that with my papa all the time on Saturday nights. So about wrestling at 6:05 on TBS. Come back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Duke's Mayo Bowl is Thursday. South Carolina v. North Carolina. I'm going to go ahead and soften you up early, South Carolina fans. You are the underdogs in this, all right? And
no.
I know.
Such a shocker.
I know. You are the underdogs in this with Zeb Nolan under helm. By the way, Auburn a 1.5 point underdog against Houston, and it's playing out about that way. 10-6 Cougs over the Tigers right now. 11-2 Houston.
For now.
Now Auburn does have the ball deep in red zone territory. Start this play off at the 8-yard line. They're going to give it on the end around and tackle. We'll call it right back at the line of scrimmage. Play set up well, but the outside cornerback just absolutely jumped that outside run.
And the running back it looks like maybe the fullback. He's got a fullback number. You can't tell anymore. It looked a little slow.
What's the line on this game? South Carolina, North Carolina. Zoe, take a stab at it. How many points is South Carolina underdogging?
4.
9.5.
Really, that much? Okay.
9.5. South Carolina underdogging.
Is that confidence in North Carolina, or is that just no confidence in South Carolina?
Both.
Touchdown.
It's South Carolina. Yep, touchdown Auburn. I got a flag on the play. Hold on. Might call this one back. It's a little bit of both. South Carolina had up and downed themselves all season long. North Carolina did the same thing. North Carolina was a team that came in, as a matter of fact, back during the ACC media days when Mark Ryan and I were up in Charlotte broadcasting from ACC media days. I interviewed a couple of folks, and there was no shortage, myself included, that genuinely thought that North Carolina was going to be the dark horse of the ACC. Like North Carolina with Sam Howell was going to surprise some people and make a run at the conference championship. And they just didn't. They just didn't. They just had some spots where they fell apart. There's the touchdown for the War Eagle Tigers. Waiting for the call. Got the little toe tap. Yeah, they'll call it in. It doesn't shock me. I would have set this game at 7.5. South Carolina's 7.5 point dog, right? Look, I know it's cliche because it kind of feels like I'm just reading the script for both. South Carolina, run the ball. Run the ball. So Quandre Wright's already out. You know that. You got to go to your number 2. But you got to run the ball here, right? You can't ask Zeb Nolan to go out and win this game on his arm. I would not be hurt or offended by the Gamecocks if they did what I said earlier. I would not be. He may not be in. Oh, no, I think the left foot got down. Let's see. Caught. Oh, yeah, he's in. Barely. Barely he's in, but touchdown Auburn. I would not be offended by South Carolina attacking this game effectively as a practice, right? I would not be offended by him by Shane Beamer attacking this game as an exhibition, as a practice, right?
Come on, I don't believe that's going to happen. No, I think you're going to find out that South Carolina wants to win this more than North Carolina. Going from one. Given the chance to actually win it, I really think they're going to get out there and they're going to play hard.
I think they will play for win. I think they'll play for a victory. I'm saying.
And plus, you don't want to go out looking like what you looked like against Clemson.
I don't disagree. right? You don't want to end on not just back-to-back L's, but back-to-back L's in a rivalry game and then to your border rival, right? It's like the 59th time these two teams have played together. There's a bit of a rivalry. It's not a huge one, but there's definitely a bit of a rivalry there. I'm saying I would not be offended if they did attack this game from the standpoint of, let's go get our 15 practices. Let's then run them out there onto the field. And let's see what happens, right? Like, let's take this next year. That being said, you also got to keep in mind that you are going to be changing up the offense this year, because Spencer Rattler, I'm assuming, is going to be your starter next year. Spencer Rattler's not going to run the same offense that Zeb Nolan runs, right? He's just not. He's not going to run the same offense. So, I don't know. How aggressive do you get, right? How aggressive do you get? Are you running the ball 30 times, 40 times? Are you going to turn Zeb Nolan loose and then maybe let Colton Gauthier come in there and get some snaps towards the end? How do you handle it?
Yeah, this is not going to be the team that they're going to be next year. I mean, they're going to be something. Just go out there and do things that you wouldn't normally do. Trick plays, things like that, to show that you really want the game. But I'm guessing, again, just guessing, that North Carolina, with the expectations that they had at the beginning of the season, are disappointed to be there, going to be a little bit lethargic. You come out, you throw some things that they don't think they're going to see from the South Carolina team and surprise everybody.
Yeah. I'm not questioning that this South Carolina team is going to be aggressive. They're going to come play to win this game. And I think to Shane Beamer, this game means something, right? Not just to make a bowl game in his first year, but to go win it and win it against a good North Carolina team. That'd be a huge feather in the cap.
You know who? And
I'm sure.
Here's
Yeah, it's going to mean something to Zeb. But I think to Shane Beamer, it matters. Like, to Shane Beamer, for a guy that really had to step on the how y'all going to boo me one week and then applaud us the next. I need the real fans to show up to go out and win this game for the real fans.
he won't get Duke's Mayo dumped over him. It's the Gatorade, will he?
That is the rumor, that the winning coach will take a Mayo bath.
Oh,
if you're the coach, are you telling them before? I swear to you, if you dump Mayo and you lose your scholarship.
well, I'm guessing Mayo weighs a lot more than Gatorade, so it's going to just watch out for the linemen.
It's all offensive linemen.
Yeah.
It's all offensive linemen that got to do that dump.
Oh, the smell. Imagine trying to get mayonnaise out of places where you shouldn't have to get. Yeah, anyway.
Look, I like mayonnaise, but not as an outfit, Not as an outfit.
Well, some people around, if it's Duke's.
No, but if I get a big pool and just dip me some fried chicken down in there, make a little chicken sandwich. Little fried chicken sandwich, mayonnaise. Don't act like that's weird.
Okay.
Chicken Sammy. Throw a little Duke's mayo on the top of that. Come on, man. That's where it's at.
Houston just threw an interception, by the way.
Yes, they did. And Auburn almost brought it back. Thought we had a pick 6 on our hands. Auburn, by the way, in charge of this game now, 13-10, and
motivation.
The INT.
Yeah, everything has shifted.
It's in Birmingham. They're only the better part of 2 hours from Auburn, so they got the home field advantage in this for sure. Let's take a break. We'll come back half hour of the final hour of the Rob Brown Show. We'll take a look at the NFL playoff race next. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo, and this is ESPN Upstate. Why do I want this shirt as much as I want this shirt?
HVAC specialist will give your system a thorough checkup. And if you need a new unit, Priority Heating and Air
Visit bankofamerica.com/more-reward and apply now. Copyright 2021 Bank of America Corporation. With just one spray of Microban 24, your hard surfaces are sanitized for up to 24 hours. Touch after touch after touch.
So 6 hours from now?
Still sanitized.
12 hours?
Yep.
18 hours?
You're really doing it.
24 hours.
When used as directed, one spray of Microban keeps killing 99.9% of bacteria. Touch after touch for, up to 24 hours. Microban 24. The sanitizer 4 out of 5 doctors are using their own hands. So why not do it?
Gentlemen, now you can find the best brands and goods for you without even trying. Just follow these easy instructions. Step 1. Shop at personalized stores that does all the work for you. Customizing a selection for your taste and body. Step 2. Level up your closet with the best brands and fits with little to no effort. Not trying has never looked so good. Introducing Stitch Fix Inside.
Come here real quick. You are the fashion police. Would you wear any of those? Maybe
they look like
the black ones.
They look like kid shoes. Maybe the black ones. Maybe the blue and red ones with my Braves gear, but I changed the laces to yellow or to white.
Okay.
I wouldn't wear any of them. Like, oh, I just have these. I could tie that one with a shirt I have. I could tie those with a shirt. I wouldn't wear either of those. They look like that's targeting. They look like the shoes you'd buy your elementary schooler when they went 90s.
I'm not opposed to buying some Dragon Ball Z shoes if they look better than that. I don't know. Why is Andrew? Oh, never mind.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on back, half hour of the show. I am Rob. He is Lonzo. Thanks for being a part of it. Wrapping up the NFL weekend. Take a look at the playoff pictures as they stand right now over in the AFC right now. It is Kansas City in control of their own destiny. They got the Bengals and the Broncos left to go. Not an easy game against Joey B. Joe Burrow going for 525 this weekend. Had himself a day, ladies and gentlemen. Not an easy win for the Chiefs. But basically it comes down to Lonzo, win as many games as the Tennessee Titans and you have the number 1 seed. Don't, and either it's a tiebreaker, which I don't know how that shakes up right now, or you give home field away.
Tennessee would win the tiebreaker because they beat Kansas City.
That's right,
they
did. So, that's right, they did. Forgot about
so
that.
If you want the number 1 seed,
win out.
Yeah, you have to
win out, because if you if Tennessee wins 2 and you only win 1 of 2, and Tennessee's got a little bit of easier path. They got the Dolphins and the Texans back to back. If Tennessee wins out and Kansas City drops 1, Tennessee takes home field advantage.
And I don't remember, but I think Kansas City is like on a 7 or 8 game winning streak or something like that.
Yeah. But again, Cincinnati clicked this weekend. Now, will that carry over? I don't expect another 525-yard day out of Joey B, but it is not impossible that it happens, right? It's improbable, but not impossible. Tennessee, on the other hand, you got to win out. If you want any chance, you got to win out, and you need help from either Cincinnati or Denver. If the Titans are able to win out here, they could still steal home field advantage. And by the way, not only is that big, 32% chance have the Titans to get Kansas City, but The smoke around the rumor reel right now, Lonzo, is that Derrick Henry might very well be back for these playoffs. Derrick Henry could make his way back onto the Titans roster, which changes the reflection of any game, especially if it's a home game for the Titans. Derrick Henry back, that really lowers Kansas City's probability of making it to back-to-back Super Bowls. Still a good one.
Does it though?
With Derrick Henry,
it just seems to be that he was there last year. And it didn't make a difference.
Right, but he beat you this year. So 1-1 in the last two.
Yeah, they're in a little bit of a swing.
I didn't say it makes Kansas City the underdog. I said it lowers their chances of going. There's the difference.
I'm sorry. I just went fan there. I apologize.
You did. You kind of did. You kind of did go fan on me. Cincinnati Bengals at 9-6, 82% chance to make the playoffs. They'd have to lose out and get some whatever the opposite of help is if they were going to end up missing out. 73% chance to clinch that division. Still, the Bills are all but in. They lose out and have about 6 other teams win out. They could technically get bumped. But a win against the Atlanta Falcons this weekend would solidify them in the playoffs. A 90% chance to win that division as well. If they were to lose out to the Falcons and the Jets, and the New England Patriots were to win out against the Jags and the Dolphins, New England could still win that division. And it's not even crazy far-fetched at this point. But it would take the Bills dropping to both the Falcons and the Jets to make that happen. Very likely got it. Colts at 9-6, 96% chance to lock in, but they would need a lot of help. They need Tennessee to drop both, and they'd have to win at the Raiders against the Raiders and at the Jaguars to still that division. It's still a possibility, but it's like a 6% chance they get in. The Patriots at 9-6 look like a wild card team. 95% chance to make the playoffs. Still got about a 10% chance to steal the division away. But again, they'd have to have the result of 4 different games go their way to make it happen. Not an easy spot. And right now, that last wild card spot being held by the 8-7 Miami Dolphins. Big win after they lost 7 in a row. They have now won 7 in a row after knocking off the New Orleans Saints on Monday. They've got the Titans and the Patriots. They may have the toughest out to make their way into the playoffs when it's all said and done. The Titans are playing for their division and their lives, and the Patriots, I mean, the best case for Miami would be that the Patriots can't win the division but are locked into the playoffs, and they rest everybody in week 18. Excuse me. I'll get used to that eventually. Rest everybody in week 18 and end up taking on a New England backup roster. Then they might still be able to force them in the wild card. Miami's got their work cut out for them. Ravens, Chargers, Raiders, Steelers, Browns, and Broncos all technically still alive. Broncos have a 1% chance of getting in. The Browns were not eliminated by the loss to the Packers, but they've got to beat Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, so 2 divisional rivalry games, and get some help if they're going to fight their way in. They got about a 13% chance of getting into the playoffs.
Speaking of the Browns, did you see the hold?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was New Orleans Saints-esque.
Yeah. It was awful. It was atrocious. And if it was anybody but Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers,
and that's
they'd have called it.
Well, that's how tight that division is. If Cleveland would have won that game, they would have been in first place. They lost and fell to last.
Yep. Let me get Kevin in here real quick before we run to the NFC side of the picture. Kevin, welcome in, big fella. Great to have you.
What's going on, fellas?
Another day in paradise, buddy. How are you?
Oh, man, doing pretty good, man. Lonzo, big fella, what's going on, man?
I'm just glad to be back.
Hey, man, I feel you, man. Y'all's Christmas pretty good?
Oh, yeah, brother. Got some good football in. Back to it, though.
Back to it, man. Back to the grind, man. I'm telling you, man, Green Bay Packers, man. I'm ready for them to do it, but I tell you what, when you go to the playoffs, man, you got to run the ball, man. You can go to the playoffs passing this ball all around the yard, but when you hit the playoffs, man, it's defense and running the ball, man. And whoever runs the ball best in the NFC gonna win this thing, man. And plus the AFC too, but somebody got to run this ball, and we can run it, but we don't like to.
Yeah, but again, man, the teams that win in the playoffs consistently, you either got to have an elite level quarterback, you got to have a Rodgers, a Brady, Breeze, or you got to be able to run the ball. I mean, an average quarterback being asked to do extraordinary things is a recipe for disaster in the NFL playoffs.
And you got that right, man. And another thing, man, I finally get to see my Tar Heels play this Thursday, man. I'm going down to see him play the Gamecocks, and hopefully we come out hot, man. I think we kind of bipolar, man. I don't know what's going on down there. We wake up one Saturday and we play like we were top 10 in the beginning of the season, and then we show up like we bottom half of the top 10, and I mean, the last 25 and out there. So I don't know what we're gonna do, man. I just want to see a good game and some good football.
Well, hey, look, it should be good, and I think both of these teams got a lot to play for, right? Like North Carolina's in a spot that and along with a lot of other media folks at the ACC Media Days, all said that North Carolina was the dark horse to win the ACC. I genuinely thought they had an outside chance. They got a chance to at least put a solid little feather in the cap on the way out the door. Shane Beamer, on the other hand, is, this is a dude who there were points in time this season was getting booed by his own fan base, and people were, there were Gamecock fans screaming that the experiment failed before they even got into the lab in week 6 or 7. Talk about a way for him to end the 6-6 season, hit expectations, but to go out, not just win a bowl game, but to win a bowl game against a decent ACC team. This might go down as one of the better bowl games in this entire bowl season.
I hope it does, man. I want to see it. Now, if South Carolina, I don't know who they're going to have at quarterback. It might be me at halftime if they play the cards right. But I tell you, if they get somebody that can get hot, man, then this game can be in the 30s for both teams. It can be in the 40s for both teams. All I care. I just want to see it. I want to see a good game. I don't want to see 10-7 or 16-6, that type thing, and it's just bad football. But I think that, like you say, this will be one of the better ones.
I think it will too. Kevin, appreciate the phone call, buddy. Good to talk to you. Yeah, I think South Carolina, North Carolina's got a very good chance to be a very good bowl game. I really do. This is a game that I very much think has a lot of potential to be a shootout. But again, the edge goes to North Carolina because I trust Sam Howell more than I trust Zeb Nolan in this game, right? And I like Zeb Nolan. I like the story. It's a feel-good story. But if I had to pick one of these two guys to guide me to a bowl game win, it's absolutely Sam Howell, right? Like, absolutely. That being said, Shane Beamer's squad has got a lot to play for. They heard the boo birds out when things weren't going well middle of the season. They saw the tweet some of y'all sent to them when they lost to Mizzou on the road after knocking off Florida before they came back and beat Auburn. They felt the awkward after getting, kicked around by the Clemson Tigers at the end of the year. They felt all that. This is a feather in the cap game for South Carolina, and there's absolutely something to play for here. Absolutely something to play for here. All right, let's go back and finish up our NFC player picture. We're obviously going to have a lot more talk about those two games. And tomorrow, pretty much, we got 2 hours tomorrow with you. We're 12 to 2 tomorrow, and it's going to be college football wall-to-wall tomorrow. So I'll finish up this NFC playoff picture. Tomorrow's college football wall-to-wall. We talked about the AFC. Over in the NFC, the Green Bay Packers right now control their own destiny as the number 1 seed. They've got the Vikings and the Lions. Should be able to go 2-0. They ought to finish the year 14-3. If they finish anything less than 14-3, it'll be a massive disappointment. Dallas Cowboys are 11-4. They got the Cardinals and the Eagles. What about the Cardinals falling apart all of a sudden?
Wait a minute. They have like the greatest quarterback of all time. How are they falling apart?
Don't you put it on Kyler. Don't you put it on Kyler.
Oh, well, that's where it goes.
Wow. Short jokes from Alonzo, ladies and gentlemen. The type of highbrow humor you only get from the South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year.
I'm an award winner.
Went over. I got nothing. I can't even make a follow-up joke. Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, 11-4, second right now in line for home field. But this race for home field in the NFC, Lonzo, it's a 4-horse race, right? Could be Green Bay. Could be Dallas. Could be the LA Rams. The Rams got the Ravens and the Niners. They probably got the toughest 2-game out of the LA Rams, or do the LA Rams. And then Tampa Bay at 11-4 right now. Tampa, however, has the Jets on the road and the Panthers coming to Tampa. So it basically comes down, I think, Green Bay wins 2 games, it's theirs, right? If they beat the Vikings and the Lions, it's theirs. If they drop 1, I got to think Tampa Bay wins out, right?
Who needs to buy the most out of those 4 quarterbacks, though? I think you'd have to go with the Rams, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah, 100%. They're banged up everywhere. Give Matt Stafford. By the way, I am still blown away at the amount of y'all. Matt Stafford's 11-4, y'all. Matt Stafford's got the same record as Tom Brady, the same as Dak Prescott. He's 1 game off the pace of Aaron Rodgers, but yeah, it's Matt Stafford can't do it. I told y'all when he was in Detroit, this is a Detroit problem, not a Matt Stafford problem. No, Matt Stafford sucks. Yeah, Matt Stafford's 11-4. And Matt Stafford's got the Ravens and the Niners and 1 bit of help from the Vikings or the Lions to get the number 1 seed in the NFC. Don't hit me with Matt Stafford can't do it. Matt Stafford's already done it, sucker. He's already done it. Arizona Cardinals at 10-5. Already clinched the playoffs.
Think about it. He's won more this season than he had like 4 or 5.
The last like 6 seasons in a row.
This is what winning's like. I like this.
The only loser in that whole trade was Jared Goff, who got sent to Detroit. Detroit already sucked. Stafford was never the problem in Detroit. Never the problem. But everybody's convinced he was because we built this mentality around the NFL that the success or failure is dictated by the quarterback. It's not.
Except in Arizona.
And Tampa Bay. Matt Stafford's just fine, y'all. He is a playoff caliber quarterback. I don't know where the narrative came from, but I'm glad he is dispelling it as we go, ladies and gentlemen. San Francisco 49ers right now at 8-7, 78% chance to make the playoffs. The Eagles of Philly might make the playoffs. 65% chance to make it. Can't win the division. But they got the 7-8 Vikings on their heels. They got the 7-8 Falcons on their heels. They got the 7-8 Saints on their heels. And the Washington football team's still alive. Atlanta only with a 1% chance to make it, though. So, probably not. Probably not. And they'd have to beat New Orleans and Buffalo to do it. Not likely. Not likely. 844-GSP, ESPN 844-477-3776. Text us on the Ingles Market text line. Let's get Chris in here before we take our final break of the day. Chris, welcome in, fella. Good to have you, big dog.
It is great to be here. We are just a couple days away from the new year, and I have a New Year's resolution that I want everybody in the Upstate, on ESPN Upstate, all throughout the world to embrace. You alluded to it just a couple of seconds ago when you were talking about Matthew Stafford. Everybody wanted to blame Matthew Stafford for the issues that were going on in Detroit. Can we please, for the love of all things holy, stop assigning win-loss records to quarterbacks? Matthew Stafford is not 11-4. The Los Angeles Rams are 11-4. Tom Brady did not win 6 Super Bowls. The teams that he was on won 6 Super Bowls. We don't keep track of offensive linemen win-loss records. We don't keep track of running back Super Bowl championships. Why we do it for the quarterback position makes no sense. We have enough advanced metrics. We have enough ways to measure to see how good or bad a player played. Trent Dilfer is no better of a quarterback than Dan Marino because he has a Super Bowl ring. Nor does a team that's part of a great defense, great special teams, great players surrounding them make them a better player. Patrick Mahomes, if you had the choice between Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady, you're going to take Patrick Mahomes every time. Well, guess who had the better offensive line and defensive front in the Super Bowl last year? It was Tom Brady's team. So to assign win-loss records to quarterbacks, we've got to stop giving them so much praise and so much blame for when things either go wrong or right. They are a part of the team's success. And in 2022, let's do better and stop assigning win-loss records to quarterbacks.
I don't know, Lonzo. I don't know that we have a Jim Rome-esque rack him, but we need one for that call. We need one for that call. Yes, indeed. Chris, here.
Rack 'em, what does that mean?
Like if somebody had a great call, they go rack him. Like,
yeah, I know.
Save that call.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's great radio.
We need our version of that.
We're better than that.
I agree. So does the South Carolina broadcast. All right, take a break. Twitter on the way out the door next on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate. And we're back. Thanks for hanging out with us on the stream today, guys. Appreciate it. See, running ORD.
Yeah, he's a little nervous about it. Go take care of my peeps, you know.
Word, dog, word.
Charlie couldn't hear him. It's just because he wasn't talking loud enough. It's like, dude, you got to talk louder.
Project, Owen, project.
Well, because he's also talking over the commercials.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell him later. Next time he needs to talk to him, take the commercials out of utility. A lot of times you do that, you forget to put them back in, though, and that's not good. You know, as someone who did their show from home for like a year.
Correct.
There's a lot more moving parts over there, though. He's got to do live news, live traffic, and a bunch of other stuff.
You gonna make it, pal?
Oh, this is mild compared to, food poisoning. Weather change.
Every time.
It's all right. It'll be cold again by next week. We'll only have time for one, looks like. Maybe two. All right, time for Twitter trending topics. You guys know how this works, so we're just going to jump in. The first thing trending.
Daryl. Why is Daryl trending? I had no idea. Food Doc Saints 4.
Something similar.
I'm okay with it.
And it's everywhere. I'm
okay with it.
I think he's a little old for it, but
Yeah, you can give me a different iteration. I'm here for it. I'm good.
The next thing that's trending is the bat and the cat.
The new trailer for Robert Pattinson's Batman movie has officially dropped. I have not seen the trailer yet. Rank it. What's it stand out? Does it stand out?
It's pretty good.
Like
you get more cat.
Yeah.
And, anytime you get a cat woman, whatever.
I'm here for it.
And Zoe Kravitz she's gonna pull it off pretty good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are with you tomorrow from noon to 2 and then from 6 to 6:30. I'm off on Thursday. Carter B will be in. I'm back next Monday. We go back to our regularly scheduled programming. Mark Ryan and Diddy on the Diddy takeover for Mark Ryan and Diesler up next. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll try harder tomorrow. My name's Rob Brown. He's Lonzo. You're listening to the South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year, the Rob Brown Show, right here on ESPN Upstate. Later, brother.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. The Colts placed quarterback Carson Wentz on the COVID-19 list. Wentz, who is unvaccinated, is out 10 days. Won't play Sunday against the